Hello, today I'm going to get inside this Carlsbro wedge monitor speaker. It's got a 100-watt amplifier built in there, and this belongs to a friend of mine, and it's continuously blowing fuses every time he powers it up. So, you know, might be interesting to see if it's the power supply or something somewhere else, or maybe something simple, I hope. But I've never been in one of these before. So I thought I'd do a quick video and we can all have a look and see if it's a simple fault or not. So, screwdriver time. I've taken the 4 screws out. There should actually be 6, but there's only 4 that's in there. And I've noticed the cover for the fuse is missing on here. And if he has powered this up a few times, always be careful, because some of the capacitors in them can still be charged. Oh, is that it? Is that all Ah, right. Okay. This is one of the perils of buying off car boot sales. You don't know what else, what's wrong with something when you buy it off a car boot. That doesn't look too happy either. Sort of clicking away, whether it's connected or not. Yeah, always be careful if you open something like this, because the electrolytic capacitors might be charged and they can give you a nasty shock if you touch the wrong part. Right, okay, I'll just whiz the camera around so we can get a better view of this down onto the desk. Is that better? Right. So I guess this is the power supply module, or it could be the amplifier as well, the amp and the power supply. There's the rectifier there, all the caps. The caps look okay, but I'll test them anyway. And it looks like one of those all-in-one sort of amplifier chips down there, just onto this big piece of aluminium. I think what I'm going to have to do, there's another couple of wires here running up behind here, which has got the control and the link inputs and wobbly pots and things. So I'm going to unscrew this top panel and get to this piece as well, so we can take the whole unit out and put it onto the table. Oh well, let's get this piece out and then put all the electronics on the table and push this out of the way. Down on the main board here, there's more fuses. I'll just pop one of these up. Yeah, and they've all well and truly blown. That one has. What about this one? Let's have a look at that. Yeah, both of them. Oh well. I'll try and figure out the circuit to see what this is doing for it to blow both of its fuses. Okay. Well, I've never read 0.00 ohms across a capacitor before. There's always a slight bit of resistance on them. Still, .17 ohms. You see, you always read something. Oh well. So we've got 37 volts AC one side and 37 volts AC the other side. Right. The next component I want to test is the bridge rectifier. This comes directly after the 2 fuses. So, on a bridge rectifier, this one in particular, let me just draw a little thing. Right, so you've got 4 pins, okay. This little cutout sort of tells me that that's the positive, and the one opposite is the negative, and then this is AC in there and AC in there. So what's going on here is your rectifiers are 4 diodes, okay, and that is sort of what's happening there. Hang on a minute, have I done that the right way around? Yeah, I think so. So you've got 4 diodes in that sort of configuration, and your AC comes in here, and that rectifies it, so you've got your positive and your negative there. Now to test these, if you've got a multimeter that has a diode check on it, just press that little button there. If I put my negative lead here and I test between this AC and that AC, I should get a reading of between 400 and 600 on here if everything's okay. So let's try that on the component. 517, 520. So that part's okay. And then the same on this side, if I put the positive on the negative pin and the negative between that AC and that AC, again between 400 and 600. 521, 521. So that confirms the bridge rectifier is okay and it runs. Nothing wrong with that. Alright, let's move on to the next component. I've tested all the capacitors, all the diodes, the bridge rectifiers, almost everything, and yet they're still a dead short. The last component is this TDA 7293, which is the amplifier basically. Now I just noticed on the pins 13, 14 and 15, 13 is the positive, 15 is the negative and 14 is the signal output. So across negative to positive, short. Across positive to signal out, short. Across negative to signal out, short. Well, that's had it then. So I'm getting a short circuit across here and here, here and here, here and here. So there's your culprit. It's a TDA 7293. So I'm going to have to split this video. Don't worry, it'll carry on in a minute for you, but for me it's going to carry on in 2 days time, because I'm just going to have to order one of these and then I'll solder in a new one and see where we go from there. So back with you in a moment. Well, 2 days really. I've got the spare chip, it's arrived. It's the 10th today of July. It was quite cheap, £3.64 plus £1.25 postage from Jellyfish Audio, which is handy to know. I didn't have to go to Maplin's this time. Right, okay, so I'm going to have to desolder the old one, but to be able to even get to that, I'm going to have to unscrew all this circuit board off this heatsink here, so that's going to be a bit of a task, getting that off. And I've got one of these handy little tools, which is a solder sucker. It simply heats up like a soldering iron with a hole down the centre, press a little button and it sucks the solder off the board. So I can do it the old fashioned way, but I can't be bothered. I've spent too much time on this already. So start dismantling it. There is a capacitor soldered in here, so just made myself a little note which way around that's got to go back on when I've taken this thing off. There we go. Right, let's start soldering this thing. So now we've finished desoldering with a bit of a wiggle. That should come out. Hey, how's that? So if I just if I can get that in anyway. There we go. Right, that's in. All the pins are through, and now I'll just solder it all up. That's all back into place, all screwed down. Of course, don't forget to use some thermal compound on the back of these. And I've hot snotted the capacitor back into place, and well, it's a case of wiring it all back together and seeing if that's done the trick, hopefully. Okay, I've wired up the speakers and there's a very little bit of buzz going off there, but I don't know if that's me or an earthing problem. I'll sort that out later. Right, Now to put a bit of music in. For your information, any of the copyright trolls out there, this is my own piece of music that I made many years ago. So this belongs to Marcus Fuller. Yay, thumbs up! There you have it, all complete, up and running again until it breaks down again. £4.89 inclusive of postage, the TDA 7293. So if you get the problems, these are used in a lot of these type of amplifiers, Marshalls and all sorts of things. The problem with repairing something like this is you spend hours looking for the bit that's gone wrong, and quite often the case, for me anyway, it's always the last bit I look at. But anyway, it's up and it's running and sounds okay. Oh, once again, for the copyright trolls, this is my music that I made. It belongs to Marcus Fuller. I'm not using anybody else's music but my own. But there you go, it works. All the best. Thanks again. I'll find something else to repair another time.